Now, Mick Mulvaney is President Trump's pick to head the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Now, yesterday I talked about the fact that he shouldn't be the current acting director. There's actually two directors right now. Mulvaney is claiming that he's the director. Leandra English is also claiming that she's director. She's launched a lawsuit against Mulvaney to prevent him from actually taking over the CFPB. So, you know, I talked about all that yesterday, but today I actually do want to talk about some of Mulvaney's conflicts of interest and the reason why he was actually chosen to run the CFPB. So, number one, I mean, the biggest conflict of interest is, of course, the donors and who his donors are and what they actually want and what he has actually done for them. So I'm going to go down that list. And this is, I'm going to get a little bit of help from TYT Investigates. Now, Ken Klippenstein wrote this amazing piece that I'm going to read some from here. He wrote that Trump's controversial pick to head the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Mick Mulvaney, received some of his most generous political contributions as a congressional candidate and a congressman from financial groups, including Bank of America, the American Bankers Association, and the Credit Union Association, according to data maintained by the Center for Responsive Politics. They, of course, track money in politics and where this money comes from, where it goes. Okay. That's the money that we can actually tell. There is also dark money that we can't track that goes through things like super PACs. But for the money we can track, of course, we can go to the Center for Responsive Politics and see where the money's going and from who. All right. Now, over the course of Mulvaney's 4 congressional runs, from 2009 to 2016, Bank of America, the American Bankers Association, and the Credit Union Association gave $20,951, $32,500, and $30,250 to Mulvaney, respectively. So he's got all that money in legalized bribes from the banks that actually helped him get reelected. Okay, now this is important because the CFPB happened to be established by Dodd-Frank in response to the crisis of 2007-2008 that was caused by banks. Okay, so now the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, by the way, is one of the really, really good things that was established by Dodd-Frank that hasn't been chipped away at, okay? Or at least hadn't been chipped away until we got President Trump. Who, with Mulvaney's help, has actually been rolling back some of the financial protection rules. Now, this organization, this agency was literally created to police these financial institutions and to help people who have fallen victim to some of the predatory scams from these institutions and actually help some of these people get their money back. Well, how much? Well, it's not a small sum. Since 2011, the CFPB has recovered nearly $12 billion for consumers. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money that was essentially stolen from these people through predatory practices of these banks, in which the CFPB stepped in and said, actually, no, we ain't having any of that. You're going to have to give the money back. We've actually got real penalties. We actually have real restitution. We're going to help these people that you screwed over get their money back. And that's exactly what they did. It's about $11.8 billion since 2011. It's no wonder why the banks despise the CFPB, as well as Mulvaney. As I said, when he was in Congress, Mulvaney, and I said that yesterday, he had voted to dismantle the CFPB, saying, oh, no, they've got too much power. There's too much over-regulation. We can't have that. We can't have a government agency actually coming in there and protecting the people against the banks. No, we can't have any of that. So Mulvaney is definitely a friend of the banks. And he did this all, of course, because the banks, he loves the banks, and the banks give him money. So, but the money isn't the only thing. Now, prior to his OMB position, Mulvaney, when he had represented South Carolina's 5th Congressional District, and some of his top donors during the House races were institutions that he would now regulate as CFPB director. So he gets all this money And then he also gets the power to regulate the banks. I wonder who he's going to help if he's the director of the CFPB. Okay. Now, one of the financial institutions that also will benefit from Mulvaney, and who has also given Mulvaney a lot of money, is the payday lenders. Now, these people are the bottom of the barrel of lenders. Okay. They're the lenders of last resort. So if you've ever had to get a payday loan, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. You do not go to these places if you're doing well. You go to these places if you're in a dire emergency, and they will make sure that you pay for it. And a lot of people end up getting stuck and trapped into these debt cycles because of the very, very high interest rates that these loans, these predatory loans, are based on. So as I said, bottom of the barrel. Okay. Now, in 2016, Grupo Salinas, which owns one of the largest payday loan chains in the country, Advance America, contributed about $5,000 to Mulvaney's campaign. Last month, the CFPB introduced new strict regulations on payday loan practices, prompting Advance America's spokesperson to call on President Trump to intercede. So, look, Trump sends the guy who takes all this money from the industry to regulate the industry. Is that a surprise? It shouldn't be. This is Trump saying, hey, don't worry, bankers. I got your back. I'm going to send my boy, Mulvaney, who's taking all this money from you guys, to come get your back. That's what this is about. And that's not all. During the 2016 election cycle, J.P. Morgan Chase and the Mortgage Bankers Association ranked among the top contributors to Mulvaney's campaign committee, donating $9,200 and $9,000 respectively. And in March of 2013, Albert Haigi, chairman, president, and CEO of First Financial Bank USA, contributed the maximum personal amount to Mulvaney's campaign. Now, again, is that any surprise? Who does Mulvaney work for? Your guess is as good as mine. The CFPB, by the way, has oversight over these commercial lending institutions as well. So all these different banks that have happened to give Mulvaney tons and tons of money in campaign contributions, legalized bribes, he's now going to have control over them. So now Mulvaney, as I said, also has connections to credit unions under CFPB oversight. Beyond the $30,000 given to him by Credit Union Association, in 2012, Founders Federal Credit Union was also a top contributor to Mulvaney, giving him a total of $5,000. In 2011, the Founders FCU president gave Mulvaney, again, the maximum amount allowed at the time, and another $1,000 in 2013. And according to a post-travel disclosure form, Mulvaney and his wife traveled to meet with the Founders Federal Board of Directors and senior management at a West Virginia spa and golf resort in October of 2011 to discuss issues and regulations regarding the financial services industry and credit unions. The trip was paid for by Founders Federal, according to Mulvaney's financial disclosure report to Congress. He also keeps a small sum of money at Founders Federal. So, look, man, all these different banking connections, that is a conflict of interest. That is clear and simple. Do you really expect him to regulate the banks when the banks have given him so much money? See, this is what we talk about when we talk about the swamp. Does it look like Trump has drained the swamp? You've got to be out of your mind to believe that. This is the swamp. This is Swamp 101. Appoint a guy who's received millions of dollars from the banks, or thousands of dollars from the banks, and put him in a position to regulate the banks. And what's worse is that Trump ran against the banks. Now, if you're a Trump voter and you were mad at the global financial elite, you must feel pretty stupid right now. At least I would hope so. Like, dude, you ran commercials, you ran ads, you said, I'm going to take on the bankers, I'm going to fight the banks, I'm going to make sure that you guys get a fair shake, right? I'm going to make sure that Washington and the global financial elite and Wall Street are not crushing you anymore. And now he's like, Wall Street, I love Wall Street. The banks, no, we actually have to help the banks more because they're getting crushed by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's who Trump is. This guy is sticking up for the elite. He is defending the power of the elites, the bankers, to steal from you. And if you haven't figured it out by now, well, then I don't think you ever will. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.